Hi everyone. We're just going to wait again for a few people to jump on the video call and join us on the conversation. I'm with my office manager Dale Klugen. Again, I'm going to do the most of the questions and she will do all the answers, seeing that she's the expert again. So we've been through a whole month of late nights with Dale, and not just Dale, my whole team, but Dale was on the front end of the management of that. So yeah, I think first of all, Dale, thank you very much for all your efforts from my side and from the client side. I think it's a lot. It's very appreciated by everybody. And I know it's a lot of late nights, and some of the applications was sometimes up to 3 times for the same client. To do submission. So I know it's a lot of hard work going in there, but in that sense as well, you gained a lot of experience going into May month as well, and we will discuss that in a moment. But yeah, first of all, thank you again for being here with me, and let's hope we can answer all the questions that there may be. So, right. So let's see if there's any. It seems like it's already a few questions. Hi, Almarie. Thank you for watching. And Draymond, thank you very much for your comment. So if there's any questions, everybody that's watching, any questions from your side, please shout. And if you just want to give Dale a high five, that's all good with me. She deserves all the praises. So we're going to run through firstly some from our side, the frequently asked questions that we receive that came from April submissions, and then also take you from where we are right now to going into May month. That's also potentially for a lot of people still part of the lockdown. Some companies still need to recover from, even they might be able to work, they will still need to recover from lockdown. So it's not a very quick and easy process, and you might, it's a high possibility that you may be able to claim UIF, TERS UIF again for your employees. So I'm going to say there's a lot of a lot of questions. What about payments not yet received? Do they pay in May, June, July? So something we can also just maybe discuss right now. But I think that's part of the questions from my side as well. So I think first things first. I think there's a lot of frustration from the employers, from the entrepreneurs. There's a lot of submissions and with the clients with no real reason for that, or no reason at all. So I think maybe just run us through the process currently. I think there's no real answer to that. I think it's really just a rule of thumb or almost like a lucky packet. The same process that you submit gets approved, and the next one don't get approved and declined, and then you resubmit it in a day or two, and then you get the refund of the payment. So I think if you can give us some information and feedback on that, I think a lot of people will appreciate that.
No problem. I think what's definitely been picked up is that a lot of the submissions, we submit our payrolls for the VIF reports by, we email it directly out of our payroll system to the UIF department. And what I've picked up by speaking to someone from NISA as well, is the UIF department actually has 2 systems, and the 2 systems are not marrying each other. There's a U-filing system, and behind it is the internal system. And the information is going through to the UIF department, and they're supposed to be picking it up and importing it onto their system. And that is actually not what's happening on some of the cases. So some companies' information is all the way up to date, and some companies' information is not up to date, obviously depending on who is processing that file. So that's what we do. We are picking up a lot. In that case, what they have said to us that we need to email them the declarations we've submitted, because we say wide declarations, with the proof of payroll to the compliance email address, and maybe they can resolve the issue on that way. The other issue we have picked up is that there is, since last week, there is an issue on the system to do with a CSV file. I spoke to the lady at the UIF department. She was very helpful, And she said to me, they have picked up errors that some files go through and some don't, even though the files are exactly the same. Those files we can now email to support at COVID. So we're going to email all those files to the COVID support team, and they're manually going to capture those submissions for us, because there's no clear reason of why they're being declined. As you said, there's on the description for being, there's actually no reason. So there is no reason. So I think that's got to do with the way the file is not being picked up clearly on that side. So we're going to manually resubmit those applications. And then if there's any additional feedback, obviously they will come back to us and let us know, listen, they are missing X, Y, and Z, and then we will just take it again from there. And then the other reason, I can tell you right now, that foreigners are not going to be paid. I spoke to a lady at the UIF department, and her words to me was, they haven't even figured out how to load the foreigners on the system. The system does not make use for passport numbers. It only makes use for ID numbers. They haven't figured it out yet on the system, how to load a passport person on the system. Currently, all we can do for the foreigners is submit a UI-19 with 3 months proof of payment to the compliance system, and hopefully it will go through on that side, but it's also not a guarantee, because like I said again, they don't know how to input a passport on the system. So those are the other main issues. And the other issue I'm picking up is that companies or people who started the 1st of March, that also tends to be a big trend of not being paid. And I know there was originally when the TERS fund came out, they did say that if a company was not registered by the 1st of March, the UIF department, they might not be considered to be able to claim TERS. So that also could be another issue in relating there. If someone has only registered from the 1st of March, the company, or someone who's only started new the 1st of March, like I said, there are email addresses, we can prove payroll and send it to them, and hopefully we can do it that way to get them to pay it out by manually capturing that person in the system for us.
Yeah, I think regarding the foreigner claims, it's always been, I mean, you need to pay obviously the UIF over on a monthly basis on that salary. But it's always been an issue with claims. It was a separate department always that you need to email it, as far as if I'm correct. And so it's probably eventually will be paid, but I don't think there's a quick solution to that, as it seems right now. They can't even keep up with the current load of applications, and we're already going into May month. So I think just on that note, Raymond asked right in the beginning, if any of the April month's payments hasn't been received yet, how would it influence May, June? Well, probably only be May and June still. How will that influence the claims?
Well, the April claims that haven't been received yet, those are the ones we're actually emailing now to the Department of Labour, and we ask them to manually capture April's. Because as far as I know from what I've heard is that April has to be captured before we can go over to May. So they won't allow May to open before they've captured May and May's been paid out. So those that haven't been paid out yet, or we're still having issues in regards to the system, the portal saying to us there's something wrong with the file, we are now emailing them manually the files to everyone and asking them to manually capture all those to get those up and to get the April sorted. As far as I know, you can still claim for April. It hasn't shut down totally by doing the manual submission to the support center, and they will do it for us.
That's an important point. So if anybody hasn't submitted the April claims yet, can they still do that?
Yes, they can do it by sending it to it's the COVID-19 TERS support at labour.gov.za. They can email that CSV file to them, and they will manually capture the file for them.
Okay, right. I think then to move on to the following month, so potentially be moving into the TERS UIF fund and claims for May. Very important for the payments that you received in April. The employer received obviously the funds, and then each and every employee had to be paid according to that UIF amount that you received. That if we've done that, make sure that you send the proof of payment of each employee to Dale, that she needs to submit a return and an email to them to confirm that you actually paid the employees. And then you can't do a May claim before you've done the April proof of payments and submission to prove that you actually paid. Do I understand that correct from you?
Yes, I spoke to one of the ladies at the UIF department. I managed to get through. She said, "What's happening at the moment? We must email them the April acceptance letter and the proof of payments. They actually haven't figured out how they're going to handle the May application yet. It might be a scenario where we don't have to go and resubmit everyone over again. They might be thinking of a quicker way of doing it by submitting back to us saying, these are the following people to pay that for April. Do you wish to pay that for May? And maybe just on a form like that, emailing it back. But that process is not totally defined yet on how May is going to be handled. She said we will be getting feedback from them once they receive the April to prove that you've paid it out. We will receive feedback then how May is handled, and we're going to take it from there as it comes out. So I think that application might change a bit. It might go a bit smoother than what April went.
I think the very important part is to make sure that you've done the payment exactly as the UIF payment schedule that you received, of the amount that you received for the employees, and that you actually paid over to the employees and then send that proof of payments to Dale. I've heard a lot, and luckily not any of our clients that I'm aware of, but I heard of a lot of employers that actually took that money, the employees' funds that paid to them, and kept it for themselves, which are, I mean, that's a very high fraud issue. So if you're listening and even think about doing that, please don't do that. Obviously, make sure that if your UIF was part of obviously of the claim, that's great, but the rest need to be paid according to the schedule to the employees.
Yes, they must please make note of the acceptance letter that I sent out. Actually, if they read very carefully the above acceptance letter, it clearly states on there that by signing that, you're actually giving them authority that they're allowed to go into your bank account and actually see that you're actually paying over their money to the employees. That is why you have to sign that letter. And if they read carefully, it states on there that you're actually giving them permission to check. So, I mean, I'm not to say that but you are giving permission to check to go in to make sure that money's been paid over. So if you've paid in advance, it's fine. You're allowed to have paid in advance. So if someone was getting 4,027 Rand and you paid them a 500, 1,000 Rand advance, you can deduct 1,000 Rand advance, pay the difference, but you must send both POPs. So the two together make up the payment that went out, that you received back from the Department of Labour.
Yes.
So we can show them, listen, you paid them 1,000 Rand and you paid the difference, but they received their full funds.
Right, and then I think one of the last items on my list is that was also issues, a lot of people, I know some of them watching right now, that's been part of the bargaining council, and especially was it the BIBC that told us that we may not interfere with the application, and then last week Friday, basically on month end, they let us, all the clients know, we need to do that now. They can't handle it. So, and some of the clients actually received their money yet. But I know I've spoken to one of our clients this morning that hasn't received their money yet. That's been submitted. But I mean, that's really, again, it's like I told him as well, it's really currently like a lucky packet. One submission goes in and you receive in the next morning, and others waiting for a week, 2, 3 weeks. So there's no real guarantee and turnaround time really, but the biggest trend that it's about 5 days on the most that we receive the money.
Yeah, unfortunately, the BIBC did make the ones that we corrected, I could log in and see they did make a mistake on their submission, and that is one of the reasons why it was declined from the UIF department. And those that we have submitted, some of them have been paid, and then some of them again haven't been paid. It's a matter of now, because I think those that haven't been paid could be because of BIBC incorrectly submitting the data. That data actually shows up on their profile as incorrect, and it's us having to override it the whole time. So that's why we're going to do the manual submission to tell them to override it with the correct CSV file.
Right, there's a number of questions. I'm going to get to that. Just for anybody think I'm ignoring you, I'm not ignoring. I'm just run through the questions that I've got on my paper, on my list, and then I'll get to all the questions on the feed. So right, we covered foreigners and how do you need to do the payments, bargaining councils, right, reasons for not paying, and then yeah. So I think I've got covered everything. Is there anything else that frequently asked questions that you receive that you want to tackle, or must I go to the list and start asking the questions from there?
You can go through the list. You can ask questions from there. I think it'll be fine.
Okay, Raymond, I think we answered your question. If we haven't done that, please let us know. Douglas Daniel, thanks for the efforts, Dale. Right, so there's Jaco Jooste. We received the second payment on the 4th of May after the first was on 25th of April, but the remittance received from UIF was the same as for 25th of April. So how do I communicate with him the quickest to resolve?
Normally what happens is that I've had the same issue. I've had one client being paid out 3 times because I've resubmitted it 3 times. So sometimes what you do is that you will get the same remittances, but you can just compare it to your previous one saved, and you'll see that you'll pick up the 3 or the 2 additional people that have been paid that you corrected on. So it's always the same remittance, but they're just adding in the person that wasn't paid last.
Okay.
So
Jaco, if you still have issues, maybe send me a direct message and I can communicate with you afterwards and maybe get Dale to assist you, maybe just with the report if you still struggle. Hilda Smith, can you claim for domestic worker for the COVID fund?
Yes, you can.
Yes. Leslie Watson, ek het al die jare 15 jaar my UIF deur SARS gedoen en nooit in kennis gestel dat ek dit op UIF site moes gedoen het nie. Wat staan my te doen? Yeah, that's also actually, I forgot about that, Leslie. That's a frequently asked question and frequently recurring issue that we receive. A lot of people don't know. I think that's also a good point in why you need to appoint an external accountant. We've been doing this for almost 2 years. 2 years. We wish. For almost 2 decades right now. So, and we've seen all these issues really from people not using external accountants that deal with this all this information on a daily basis and a monthly basis. So I think that's on that case, that's where I've answered to most people as well, is make sure that you appoint a monthly accounting services accountant that can oversee. It doesn't matter what portion you do and what they do. Make sure that they can oversee and advise you on a monthly basis. Right, so yeah, Dale, what do you suggest?
Look, there's a big chance that they could have automatically registered her. So I advise her on the TERS site. There's a part there where you can go and get your UIF number. She can take a chance by typing her pay-as-you-earn number in there and see if it'll pop up a UIF number for her. She might get lucky. Otherwise, she's going to have to do a registration. She's going to have to register for UIF number. But then again, that clause is going to come in about companies being registered 1st of March. She's probably going to have to actually email the compliance with all her data to show that she has paid and everything like that, and to prove to them, because how SARS paid the money over to UIF is going to be the link.
Yeah, so Leslie, just from my angle as well. So when you do the payments with SARS, obviously you do the payments of UIF on that EMP 201 as part of the pay-as-you-earn return and payment. So you can prove that you actually paid over the years, but you would need to be able to prove to them, first of all, you need to register for UIF separately, and then you need to be able to prove to them that you actually declared everything and paid over everything over these 15 years. So it's probably going to be a very difficult task if possible. But I mean, that's the first thing that you need to do, and then you will potentially can go to the TERS UIF fund and give them the facts and maybe use that email address that Dale just gave out a while ago, and maybe do that through them. So but it's going to be a long process, I believe. There's no quick solution to this, and they will possibly ask you also to submit all the various monthly returns on UIF and U filing to show and declare everything. So it's all the UI19s, everything with all the movements. So yeah, it's going to be a task. I'm not sure if it will be possible, but I think that's what you would need to do. Carlo Townsend, Dale, jy moet maar aangestel word as 'n minister in die departement van arbeid. Ten minste sal dinge dan vlot verloop daarso. Nee, Carlo, sy gaan net hier by my bly. Dis al waar sy gaan wees. Almi Olivier, I'm confused. If we have not received TERS pay at all, how do we submit April's UIF? So I think it's more a question of what we've done. The people that haven't received April yet, we actually resubmitted some of them. If there was quite a time lapse from the first application, we actually resubmitted the April funds. And once we receive that and can sort that out and settle that April's returns and the proof of payments to the Department of Labor, then we can move on to May. So yeah, I mean, we had found that, we submitted some returns, it's been declined, and then 3 days later we resubmit and then it's been approved for the full amount. So it's, that's, again, it's a lucky packet in my opinion. But yeah, if can you remember when you submitted the UIF initially?
For them, I think we've tried to submit the CSV file 5 times already, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure.
If I'm not mistaken. So now we actually, like I said, I got hold of we're actually going to do it via the email, the support, and ask them to manually capture it, because every time we submit it, keeps telling us the CSV file is wrong. We know it's not wrong because we've done the same. Like I said, we've done the file exactly the same as everyone else's. There's no difference, but some are accepted and some aren't. From what I can gather this morning when I spoke, I think there is an issue on the actual portal. She didn't want to say much, but that's what I could surmise from what she was trying to say to me. And that's when she said, email it to support center, and then they will manually capture for us.
Okay. Rian Laas, ek het besluit om ons staf vol te betaal omdat die UIF nie ontvang was nie. Hoe hanteer ek dit indien die UIF geld dalk na ons betaal word? Rian, ek sal vir jou gou 'n likeie gee na die tyd om met jou te spreek. Dis my voorstel aan jou te maak as ons hier klaar is. Okay, Leslie Watson just stated I have a UIF number, so then I think the biggest issue I sorted out, or you sorted out. So I think it's really just a matter of you have to now submit your monthly backdated returns. It will still be difficult, but at least if you can go a few years back, you can potentially be able to claim. So Leslie, if you have issues with that, again, send me a direct message after this call, and then I can get you in contact with Dale to assist you. Almeri Olivier, Dale, could you please explain the issue regarding foreigners and how we can help them? They have been contributing for more than 6 years. What will happen to their money? So I think that's maybe she just missed it. So maybe just a quick recap on that again for us, please.
Okay, so for all the foreigners that what we're busy doing now for all the foreigners, we are now completing UI19s for all of them. With the UI19, we will attach 3 months pay slips for everyone, and that's going to be emailed to the COVID-19 compliance center, and from there they'll be handling it. I cannot tell you when it will be paid out and how long it's going to take, because again, there is an issue on the actual system. It doesn't make allowance to put a passport number. And that is the problem, is that even though the system states that you can put a UIF number in, a passport number in, the system actually doesn't accept the passport number. So it's actually their system that they need to fix, basically, to allow that, and they are working on it.
Yeah, so I don't think that's I know it's frustrating. When you've paid for 6 years for a foreigner, that you have to pay the UIF over and you can't claim. But I mean, it was always a process, but I think it's even a bigger process now because it's not part of the, I mean, it's a system that they had to do very quickly. I mean, it's not a system that's been here forever. So it's probably going to take a while. I think eventually we'll get the money for them, but I don't think it's going to be a very quick solution to that. Monique Jansen van Noordwijk, what if your domestic does not have a bank account? How do you provide them with a POP if you give them cash? So I think first of all the funds from TERS UIF will be paid to the employer, and then the employer obviously need to pay the employee. So if that's a cash transaction, I would suggest send something on paper and get your domestic to sign that, and that could potentially be your proof of payment to show that it's actually been accepted. I don't know if you have any other suggestions, but
any other suggestion I would do is to try and use a send wallet option.
Yeah, that is potential also.
That is at least electronic. You can print a electronic format for the send wallet. I would rather use that option for them if it's possible.
Yeah, it's obviously not ideal, but I think that could work. Bucks Blau, I see some people have already been paid out twice, but I don't have received anything. I saw on the website mine was processed, but no payments yet. So I think that's again one of those lucky packet ones that just that's not so lucky.
Unfortunately, for Bucks, he's just the one where the data loaded there was from BIBC first, so that's what he's seeing. It's the incorrect data. And that is the one we are now emailing to manually get them to redo the CSV file correctly.
Dirk, if you have foreigners working for you, does that affect your other employees? As far as I know, don't they pay out the employees that's South African employees?
Yeah, they will pay out. So you'll see all the South African employees will be paid out, and none of your foreigners will be paid out. They'll be declined straight away.
So that when you do the claim, it's that you receive the bulk amount for all the employees into your bank account, and then you get a remittance from there explaining exactly the schedule of, well, supposed to be the schedule of the exact payments. So all that will happen is they won't pay those employees and it won't be on the list. And again, that's according to the whatever Dale's explained previously. I mean, that's the process. We don't really know how quickly that will be. Jolien Smuts, Fransa, Jasper en Dale, dankie vir julle insette om te verduidelik waar ons vashak. Dit is 'n groot plesier. Ons doen ons bes om by te bly met al die veranderings en verwikkelinge heeltyd. Dit is ook, ek dink is ook belangrik. Ons het al 'n paar van die updates gedoen rakende debt relief fondse, die UIF, en die goed verander amper op 'n weeklikse basis. So as van die inligting wat ons voorheen gedoen het, wat ons dalk gesê het, wat soms teenstrydig kan wees met wat ons kom ons sê vandag sê. Maar vandag se inligting is nou maar die nuutste inligting wat ons het. So partykeer as mense hier voor goed kan gaan kyk, dan sien jy maar daar's 'n klomp goed wat moontlik nie waar is nie, maar dit op daai stadium was dit so waar as wat dit moontlik kon wees ten opsigte van die inligting wat ons gehad het. Ja, ek moet kyk of dankie vir almal wat luister en kyk, en dankie vir almal wat verduidelik sulke mooi woorde stuur. Ek waardeer dit en ek stem saam met julle. Sy's 'n eyster. Vir die wat jy nog nie weet, en ek het laas ook gesê, die jaar is hy Junie maand 10 jaar by ons. So jy het 'n kade by my. Ek is amper 2 dekades in die bedryf en sy's vir die helfte van daai tydperk by my. Ek dink sy eendag gaan meubels dit word en Dryk.
Ja, nee.
Maar ek is baie dankbaar vir ou Dale. Kom ons kyk gou of daar nog enige ander vrae is wat enigiemand het. Dit lyk nie so nie. If you have any other questions from here, I will still hang on here for a moment for all the potential answers or questions. I think while we're waiting for potential more questions, I'm just going to give you a brief information I received regarding the Sakuma Fund as well, and because I know a lot of you that's on this watching here is also, we are waiting for the Sakuma Fund of the Ruperts to reopen again. So it seems like they've reopened it yesterday, but it was a hidden link of only certain parties that received that link. And so it's not open to really to the public yet, or again. So I received somebody's email today that just before this call, that I can email all the various email addresses to that I've submitted the initial application obviously after the lockdown of the system. I've submitted all the application forms, the quick application forms. So I will send all those emails to them. But yeah, there's no, don't hold your breath. I think like all the other funds, it's going to be a difficult process, and but I will do my best to get into the inside and get that alive for us again. And then obviously just while we're waiting for potential more questions, the other fund that's also reopened, I think it was last week, regarding that 200 billion rand fund and loans that they will make available. It will run through all the banks, even though they're not the decision makers on that, but they provide the links on their website. And how it will work, it's pretty much the same as a normal structured application for a loan, except that not that strict than for potential overdraft or potential business loan. The director needs to sign surety. The company, the interest rate on the loan would be roughly at prime rate, so it's not a cheap loan, it's not a soft loan. And you receive payments over the next 3 months, and you only have to start repaying in 6 months. But obviously the interest will still incur in that time. So it's not something I would advise anybody to do just merely because I think it's going to be very hard to get out of that loan at the end when you start when your business are actually up and running after 6 months and you can start trading. But that's going to be a big loan to catch up to. So it's not something I would advise any of my clients, but we will assist you when you need to get to that point that when you can't operate. You need to have working capital or at least living expenses. So if you need assistance with that, I've already spoken to one of the clients that we will assist with that. But yeah, it's not something that we really advise. Hilda Smit, betaal ons geen WVF terwyl werkers nie werk nie. So yeah, there's Dale can maybe just give us a brief regarding the UIF STL payment holidays as well, but you only pay UIF on actual salaries paid out. So that there's the UIF that you receive, obviously the employer won't receive any money because it's money in, money out. But the employees that receive the TERS UIF funds from the employer, there's no tax on that, tax or UIF on that. It's already UIF, so it's only amounts that they receive as UIF as a relief. Any other amounts that you potentially might give your employees will be obviously need to be taxed and by UIF on. So, but there is a payment relief from SARS regarding UIF and STL. Is that right?
Yes, because the money that the UIF money that you're getting is actually the employee's money. Even though it's a de-linked system from the UIF fund, it still forms part of your UIF fund that you would eventually claim from in later years. I just de-linked the two. So that's why it's not the company's money, it's actually the employee's money. That's why a lot of people who, even though some like domestics who earn 2,000-3,000 Rand a month are actually getting paid a little bit more, because at the end of the day, it's work based on the credit days and how many days off. So it's their money. That is also one of the reasons why the banks are not allowed to touch that money for overdraft, bank charges, or anything like that, because it doesn't belong. It belongs solely to the employee for the employee's use. That's what they've made it available for. So it's very important to remember that it's not the company's money, it's the employee's money, and you have to pay it over. because you will get into trouble if it's not done. You don't have to pay any, if there's no work, obviously you're not going to pay any UIF. And for those people who maybe have paid some salaries, there's a 4 months SDL holiday. So no SDL has to be paid over for 4 months. And then you've also got the 35% deferment on the pay as you earn, but that has to be stopped being paid from the 7th September. So you need to make allowance if you are going to defer that. Please make sure that from the 7th September, you've put away that extra 35% has been put away somewhere to make up for and has to be stopped paid. So obviously by the fiscal year end of 2021, all your pay as you earn will have to be brought up to date for that current financial year for your RP5s and everything like that. So it's just to bear in mind that.
Yeah, so that's really just a rollover and just a relief, a temporary relief. But I mean, you will suffer the consequences in a few months. So it's something that I don't really suggest anybody do. But the real incentive as well from SARS side is the raised ETI. So there's a bigger portion of the ETI than the normal 500 or 1,000 rand, and there's also previous. You have a two-year period that you can claim ETIs, and they've actually opened it up that when the 2 years are over, you can still actually reclaim for those specific employees, and also ages 32, I think it's 35, 65.
With a salary
So,
six and a half.
Yes. So yeah, still 6.5. So this at least there's a real relief in a sense of ETI funds that can be deducted and potentially paid out to compliant companies. Right. Carlo Townsend again, Daily and Jasper, thank you very much for all the effort. It's truly appreciated. That's a big pleasure, Carlo. Hilda Smit, kan ons WVF betaal aan iemand wat 'n staatspensioen kry? So so it's, as you say staatspensioen, if it's old age pension, they may not receive any other income. Because that income need to be declared, and the moment you declare that with the Department of Labor through UIF, it'll obviously be picked up, and it will. There's a big chance that they will lose the old age pension they receive. So if it's a normal pension that you've been working for government and or whatever the case may be, and you receive a pension on a monthly basis, that is fine. But as long as you don't receive old age pension, so if that's what you're referring to, those people can't receive any payments regarding UIF, because that will definitely be an issue. Jaco Jooste, one of our employees wasn't paid, and the reason was that she already had as a claim for UIF, but we know that it's not the case. We had the query early last week to the email address, but no response yet. Do you have do they have a capacity to handle all these queries?
I'm not sure if there's a total capacity to handle all these queries, but it's not the first time that error has come up. I have had it before where that it said that someone has got a claim in. The chances are, I mean, there is a chance that it could be someone else trying to claim on his name. It does happen. I think the only place, I don't even know if there's an email address we could try even to do the inquiry from. Well,
again, I think we had one of our companies, we had the same issue regarding a decline, that we also suspected that there might have been a claim at some stage, but we have resubmitted that claim, that application, and within a day we received the money. So it might be worth it just to resubmit that application for that specific employee and see what result you get from there. I think that might be the option. Hi John, plesier, baie dankie vir julle insette en inligting. Dit is 'n groot plesier. Ek moet kyk of ek enigiets gemis het. Ek is geneig om op die die feed baie mense goed te mis, as die mense baie kwaad vir my. So Yeah, I think that's about it. I think we've covered pretty much everything. If there's any other questions that anybody do have, please send me a direct message. If you have my number, give me a call, send me a message, or send me an email, and we will do our best to assist you, as always. So yeah, I think that sums it up. I'm just gonna give another 5 minutes, and then we will end the conversation. But while we're waiting, I just want to let everybody know that I've mentioned before as well, but we've got a gift back for entrepreneurs to the value of 57,000 rand. It's free of charge for every entrepreneur in South Africa. I've started last year for small business owners to start supporting each other. So, and obviously this year it's never been this needed to have a gift back to the value of 57,000 rand available. Um, it's from a variety of network partners and businesses, but part of that gift back for entrepreneurs are gift back to the value of 3 months free monthly accounting services. So if you're not yet a client of ours, please be in contact with us. Go to the website entrepreneursa.com, entrepreneur-sa.com, and you will get all the information of that gift back on there. You can activate it there, and you can start contact us regarding all the various businesses that you want to use the vouchers, etc. for. So, but very important from our side, the accounting side, there's 3 months free monthly accounting clients if you're not yet a client of ours. Yaku, yeah, I think try that. I think that's probably your best bet to try that, and before you start doing your May submissions. Right. So from here, like I said, we're trying to sort out. Dale's trying to sort out the last April payments that we still need to receive, and then it's off to May, and hopefully May will give us some better answers on everything, and hopefully a lot of people will start getting back to work as well, and back to their craft, to start earning income again, turnover again. So. Yeah, any last words from you? I think my questions are done.
Just two things for people to remember. If you have submitted your TERS fund before the 17th of April and haven't resubmitted, you have to resubmit. Anything before the 17th of April is not been accepted. It's been actually just been voided, because after the 17th, this stuff changed again. So if you did do a submission before the 17th and you haven't resubmitted, I advise you to resubmit again. And then the other thing you must please look at is that people born in the year 2000, majority of the cases, their stuff is declined with the incorrect ID number. So even on your Excel file, it sometimes doesn't pull right. So make sure when you view the file in the notepad, actually go in there and check that the 3 zeros are in there, because a lot of our issues that I've had, I had to resubmit based on IDs. All of them have been the issue with someone born in the year 2000, because the system doesn't read 3 zeros. So there's another thing just to look at.
Okay, great. Thank you everybody that's been watching, and thank you for all your questions. It's great to get the questions, because we also understand from your side what the issues are, what we can look into as well. And even if you're not a client of ours, to advise our clients as well, to give us all the questions and all the frustrations that you have. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. And again, Dale, thank you very much for all your trouble. There's a lot of people that also you can go to the thread a bit later and see it for myself and reply there. But yeah, from my side as well, thank you very much. You're a big star.
No, thanks, Jasper. It's a pleasure, and thanks for all the questions. It always helps to be enlightened and learn more stuff as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much, and
thank you for
see
watching.
you potentially next week.
Reminder,
Bye-bye.
grab your gift bag for entrepreneurs in the link below. It's a gift bag for entrepreneurs to the value of 57,000 rand, free of charge. All you need to do is activate it. Part of that gift bag for entrepreneurs is a voucher of 3 months for 3 months free accounting services from a company, Dryk Holdings. All you need to do is activate the gift bag voucher in the link below, and we will be in contact with you as soon as you've done that.